And our next speaker is Adrien Joly, who's from Wide. He's going to be talking about something a little more abstract. It's about the changing meaning of communities, online communities. So, welcome. Over to you, Adrien.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Adrien Joly. I'm the lead developer of Wide, which is a Parisian startup company, and we're doing a social network. I'm not going to talk about the community of our users because we've been in private beta for quite a long time now. We're still iterating on the product, so I don't have anything interesting to talk to you about this for now. What I'm going to do is to talk about the meaning of the word community, because it's a very complex word, and how they evolved over time on the internet, starting in the late 70s. So that's the most concise definition I found about communities, and the one that I like the most. A community exists when the people in it describe themselves as us. So this definition is good because it shows that people have a strong connection with each other, and they have a common ground. They know each other, like they can call each other, rely on each other, and they have a common purpose. So it could be a team, a soccer team, or a baseball team. It could be even some people that share a hobby all around the world. It doesn't really matter as soon as they know each other. So now I'm going to show you some periods of time on the internet. The community communication started in the late 70s when bulletin board systems were invented, especially Usenet. At that time, it was mostly used by a community of researchers that were exchanging news about their universities or their research teams. And then, maybe almost 20 years later, many other ways were created for people to communicate in communities, like IRC, which was a chat protocol, and then it became ICQ. Caramel, that some French people might know, was very popular in my generation, and also forums started to be created, and people started to have good conversations on forums. But then in 2001, a new era, we could say, started. It was the crowdsourcing era, and Wikipedia started it because actually people who didn't know each other, so it was not really a community, they built together an encyclopedia from scratch. And they were able to do that because they were able to collaborate on the same platform with the same purpose. But other websites were able to do quite the same thing. I'm thinking about Delicious, which was probably one of the first bookmarking websites, which was very powerful because it helped people to find information on the internet by qualifying and rating web resources, websites, so helping other people to find them. And the same applies for Reddit and Dig, on which the contributions are very small. People only vote for a link if they think that this link is interesting and worth discovering by other people. So at that point, the sense of community is actually quite poor because there is no common work at a deep level. It's mostly processing information that was created or shared in smaller communities like forums, web pages, or blogs. And then around 2004, I think everybody knows that phenomenon. It's called social networking sites. This was completely different in terms of community because social networks are self-centered, they are ego-centered. In social network, people have a community of many people that are actually many communities because there are a circle of friends that don't necessarily know each other. And another difference is that the contribution of social network are private. People talk about themselves, they put their picture, they talk about their mood, they ask questions to their friends. And the conversation actually starts from this sharing activity. When you share a picture, your friends will join the conversation, even if the friends of this conversation don't know each other. So Of course, I was talking about websites like Facebook that most of you know for sure, and its ancestors, MySpace and Friendster. In the case of microblogging like Twitter or Tumblr, the meaning of friendship is very different because necessarily symmetrical. So you can follow someone without that person to follow you. So that's what created a new dynamic and the virality, and some people become experts because of that. But then we are reaching something like 900 million of user profiles on Facebook today. So I don't know how your newsfeed looks like, but mine looks like a real mess. Like you see too much information, you see pictures for everyone. Sometimes it's not even funny. It's people you haven't seen for many years. So, and on Twitter it's even worse. If you follow many people, you just stop reading it after a while because there's just too much stuff. But in reply to that, there is a new trend that is called curation now. And the principle of curation, it's actually pretty much similar to what happened in 2001 with Wikipedia and all the Dig and Delicious websites. Actually, the internet users became curators, so they try to clean the information that is already on the web. So they help each other out doing that. And one of the ways of doing this is to use interest-based network in which people that are experts or knowledgeable about a specific topic will find information and rate information and share it with other people that are interested by this information only. And in this curation part, you probably know Quora, which is a Q&A website on which users can follow topics that they are interested in. So they only receive questions and answers about subjects they care about. So also other websites like Scoopit or Portrees are used to share and aggregate similar and related information together so that communities can collaborate in cleaning the web together. Foursquare, which is a network based on locations. This one is a good one because it looks like a social network at first, but you get also recommendations from people that are not your friends just because you checked in at the same places. So you're probably part of the same kind of community because you like the same kind of places. And Twine, I like to put this one because it used to be, I think it's the first interest-based network that was created using semantic technologies. Unfortunately, it didn't make it, but I guess it was too early. So what I would like to sum up about these few slides is that you can observe that there were two waves of communities on the web. The first wave started with Usenet and chats and emails. So it was mostly one-to-one conversations or very small group conversations, mostly from people that knew each other in real life. Then all this conversation had to be cleaned by communities, high-scale communities like Wikipedia, Delicious and stuff. But the community, the strength of the links were very weak because it was two big communities, but it was helpful anyway. Then the second wave started, the social network wave, in which the links were more intimate and it was more fun and people were sharing more stuff. But today it has become too much information to handle. So now we are going to the curation part. And in my point of view, that's the end of the second wave. And now we're going to a third wave that is starting today. And that third wave is connected to many requirements that we start to see on sites like Pinterest that you might know. On Pinterest, people want to show who they are based on what they like and what inspires them. So they want to express themselves in a good way. And I think it makes sense because on the first wave, people were exchanging messages using avatars and nicknames mostly. Okay, this is exaggerated a little bit, but compared to the second wave, which was social networks with pictures all over the place, pictures of parties and holidays and stuff. I think there's a huge gap. But now there is a need for people to show their specificities, what they make them special and inspire them. So the second trend is what is called serendipity and personal relevance. You probably know the word relevance already because that's what Google tries to do when you put a keyword. They try to show you something that matches what you're looking for. Serendipity, on the other hand, is to discover something that you still don't know you want to discover, but you might like it anyway. So I think, again, Pinterest is good for this because even at the beginning you don't follow anyone, but you get some inspiring picture that for some reason you like. So this is good. But in my opinion, in order to reach that state, we have to get a better understanding of what people are interested about, what they are good at, and what they want to receive. Then, when we already have many connections on Twitter, Facebook, and all these social networks, but it doesn't make them communities. It's not enough. In order to turn them into communities, you have to actually create a deeper connection with them and animate this group of people around topics. Today on Facebook, Facebook is just an address book of your friends. Okay, you can find some common likes between two friends and figure out that two people like the same movie or the same event or whatever, but it's still very weak. So now we have to find a way for people that know each other or don't know each other yet, it doesn't matter, to get grouped together and to create something together, to share something that is relevant to them only. So now I'm going to introduce my startup because we are trying to address all these directions in what we do. And the way we present it is that Wild is a virtual library. So like the one you have at home, you put all the things that defines you. So in our case, we're on the web. So what we share is basically video, music, links, images that are about all the cultural, artistic, and entertainment in general that defines you. We started as a topic-based social network, but we realized it was very hard to convince people to get active on it because it was too vague. So now we are more focused on the artistic and cultural parts. And before leaving the stage, I will share with you our current strategy to create communities on our website. The first one is to attract people that are well known for distinctive taste in art, or like people that work for magazines or things like that are respected by a lot of people. As soon as we succeed in doing that, we probably get some fans that will want to discover more about that person, about their personal taste. And our goal is to transform these fans into stars so that they can curate or take content from these tastemakers and then put their own taste and get reposted by other users and so on. And then we find a way to connect these people because we know what they're interested in and we know what is common with them. So we can animate this community so they talk to each other and share more content about what makes them passionate. So thank you for your attention.